if you're watching the stream, there he is, our adopted son. He's been on the program before, had him on my podcast as well. Jay Swish, Jordan Schmaltz. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, brother. I'd be better if I had a 2-topping pizza from Western Pizza, but I'm doing well, man. A reoccurring guest, honorary member of the Saskatchewan Roughrider faithful. What's up, brother? It's good to see your chin again.
Yeah, you're a great follow, J_Swish24 at Twitter. You got the pod rolling as well, Home by 3 podcast. I got to ask you, though, what the heck were you doing at the Grey Cup? How did that all come about? When I first saw it, I'm like, that's got to be some sort of joke. I know you have your Rider jersey, and you wore it proud, backwards and frontwards. How did you end up at the Grey Cup?
Yeah, so I mean, aside from wanting to witness history and see the oldest trophy in sports handed out in the historic 9-team league, the hardest 9-team league in the world as far as I'm concerned here, and the hardest 3-down league to boot. But yeah, man, it kind of started off with, I always wanted to go to a Saskatchewan Roughrider game, right? Whether it was at Mosaic Stadium, it was in Winnipeg, whatever it was. I've had buddies in routes, as you know, into the Moose Jaw area, being roommates with Colton Sanderson, friends with Rhett Gardner, both guys whom I played with at the University of North Dakota. So it kind of just aligned, man. The stars aligned. We wanted to do a meet and greet or a live show up in Winnipeg at some point. So we were able to parlay that with Home by 3. And then the Grey Cup just happened to work out where we were able to get full access from the CFL. And shout out to the CFL for literally letting us be boots on the ground before the game, during the halftime show with MGK, and then after the game, as well as the 112th edition of the Grey Cup was handed out. So it just kind of worked out where we got this access from the CFL, and they were in good faith with us. We were able to be in the press box, chop it up. So it was awesome. It was everything that I thought. In the end zone, Barney, I'll tell you, was bigger than I could have ever imagined. Like, I knew it was big, but I didn't know you maybe had to Uber from the start of it to the end of it, because that's how big it was. It was a country mile. Like, how did these guys not score more points?
I remember, I think I heard it probably about 20 years ago. Colin Coward was talking about it, and he's like, I love the Canadian game. You can run a post pattern from the one, like a full-out post pattern.
Yes, you can. I mean, the end zone itself, like I said, I think it's the equivalent, if you were able to put it on a track, it's one full lap around the track is how long that thing is. So it was cool, though, man. Like, obviously, pregame, we saw Our Lady of Peace, and I was actually walking out to the 50-yard line, like right before they set up, and someone from the CFL, some lady, came like charging at me. She's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm selling the game, baby. She's like, you're in the shot. I'm like, what? She's like, you're on TV right now. We have to cut it. I'm like, okay, shit. So I run back and I get out of the end zone, or off the 50-yard line or the 55-yard line. I run back to the end zone. I'm like, oh my God, I almost got kicked out of the Grey Cup before it even started. So, but in all seriousness, everyone was great to us. It was so much fun. And look at me right there with the Sportsnet mic, selling the game, shit kickers on, bell-bottom boots. I mean, if that's a guy that doesn't rep the CFL, I mean, come on, what are we doing? Give me a lifetime pass.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you think of, like, obviously the hype leading up to it? Because people, will slag on the CFL and they'll do this, but if you go to a Grey Cup, and full kudos to Winnipeg, right? Like, they know how to party. They sell out their barn all the time. They're a good time. They're a lot like Sasky. Like, the atmosphere and the event itself, like, it's pretty fun, like, being around it the days leading up.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, even the expo before, where they have it at the RBC, they had this little area set up with every team had their little suite. I mean, we went in the Saskatchewan Roughriders conference room. It was the band. There was cheerleaders. There was a bunch of drunk farmers. They were selling merch. So that was awesome. We got to meet a lot of good people. And yeah, the whole thing, I thought it was a really good just showcase of what the league is all about. And the cool thing, Barney, I thought was every team travels fairly well. Aside from the teams obviously being there with the Montreal Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I mean, the Sasky faithful, they travel, they come across Highway 1 or 2, and they make their way into Winnipeg. That was, going to happen as is. But I just thought there was a ton of fans, from the Argonauts to the Tiger Cats, the BC Lions. Like, it truly was, a spectacle of the entire league. And Winnipeg did a great job as a host. And Earls on Main, despite moving across the street and a little bit to the west, it was still a hell of a time.
Okay, let's get into some hockey stuff here. And NHL, what's the story so far this year that's intrigued you?
I don't know. I think right off the bat, I thought Pittsburgh, the start they had, I thought that was a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, with the coaching change coming from Mike Sullivan to Dan Muse, I didn't know how Dan Muse was going to, necessarily mesh, I guess, with the older veterans in Pittsburgh. But it really seems like he's instilled a lot of excitement, even restoring a little bit of confidence and overall just vibe around the team, and especially a guy like Erik Karlsson. I think obviously we know Sid is aging like a fine wine. Evgeny Malkin seems to be playing like it's 2012, at least until this point. But I just think the biggest thing for them is Erik Karlsson and how well he's played, how well he's competed. I think, even hearing his remarks of the old regime and saying it kind of drained him a little bit. So I thought Pittsburgh has done a nice job thus far. I don't know if they'll be able to hang on in terms of be a legitimate playoff team, but that's been nice to see, especially for Sid's case. And then Macklin, Celebrini, and Bedard. I call him Celebrini, but Macklin, Celebrini has been unbelievable. Even Connor Bedard. I mean, this kid, he's got bite, he's got jam. He seems like a totally different player. I don't know if he's got a couple Pilsners in him right now or what's happened or what's changed in his life, but it seems like whatever he did in the summer has really worked out. And I just love his compete and his drive. And, they got a legitimate team there in Chicago for years to come. I'm not saying it's this year, but the way he's playing, it's been fun to watch.
Celebrini and Bedard, and that's kind of going to be the debate up until they got to announce the team here. Do you see, and you're talking to a lot of guys as well in the game, do you see one of them making the Olympic team for Canada, both of them, neither of them?
Well, Marty, I see both. If I'm picking that team and I'm Doug Armstrong and company there with Ryan Getzlaf, I'm going Celebrini, Bedard, and as well as Tom Wilson. Out for me would be Konechny, Jarvis, the pride of Winnipeg. I know that stings, but he's going to come out, and as well as Mark Stone. So those would be the 3 in, 3 out. I just don't know how you leave those kids off the team. Just the excitement. Bedard obviously is going to have to play on the wing, but I think he's versatile enough to do that. And Celebrini, I mean, even just how strong he is on his skates, his edge work, and just he plays with piss and vinegar too. So I think both those guys have to be on the team if you're picking them right now and they're healthy. And then Tom Wilson has got to be on that team. So if I'm doing 3 in, 3 out, that would be my moves.
And it's going to be different hockey than the Four Nations, right? It's like Olympic refs, Olympic everything. So I don't mind that. I'm very curious to how it goes. I got to if you're watching the stream and you haven't seen this video, we'll play it here as we talk. I saw you were commenting it on Twitter, but it's going around. Everybody's talking about this professional autograph seeker bombarding Connor Bedard as he walks with some teammates for an autograph, and they're videoing it. Like, what do you think there, Jay Swish?
Well, first of all, he's either got a camera or those glasses that record, so he's totally looking for a reaction. So that's a red flag number one. Number two, he's got the draft preview magazine with a silver-colored Sharpie. Now, I wasn't good enough necessarily in the NHL to sign a lot of autographs, nor would they be worth any money, Barney. But I knew a lot of guys that did sign, and they'd always tell me if you see a silver Sharpie or you see a blue Sharpie, that a lot of times, 99% of those times, those guys are looking to resell. So Connor Bedard is doing the right thing. He's not entitled to sign this guy's draft preview magazine.
Yeah.
And if Connor Bedard doesn't want to sell it and this guy is viewed as a seeker, someone that's trying to resell it, I mean, why would you sign it? You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that this guy has the recording glasses or he has a phone out to try to get a reaction and really film it in real time to make him out to be, not that good of a person, I think it's pretty shameless. And, good on Bedard for just scribbling there. I love that. He didn't give him the Herbie Hancock. He said, you know what, F you, here's a little squiggle, and I'm going to continue on with my day.
Yeah, just some absolute pigeon slashing. They're probably in sweatpants, tracking them down. Like, when you played and guys that you hung around with, and even in the podcast world now and what you're doing, who's a guy that just like loves giving back, like a player, something maybe crazy that you've seen in your time?
Yeah, well, we would always call those guys seekers. I would call them mutants or just the Rat Pack. And some guys were honestly too nice. Like you would see a guy like Colton Parayko or Alex Steen, some of these big time players where they would sign not only one of those draft preview magazines, for example, they'd sign 10 for the guy. And I would always be thinking, like, these guys are just way too nice. You know what I mean? Especially a guy like Colton Parayko. He's a big teddy bear. Ivan Drogba, he's 6'6", but he's just this little teddy bear at heart. So some of these guys were too nice. Now, I wouldn't be a complete dickhead if I was at that stature of a player, but I'd be like, fella, come on. Like, I just signed for you yesterday. You're showing up at the same time. Now you want 30 cards signed? So a lot of times those guys, too, a trick of the trade would be make it out to them. Like if their name was Daryl, you'd be like, to Daryl, stretch your body, stretch your career. So he couldn't resell it. You know what I mean? Unless he was selling it to Daryl Sutter, that's worth nothing. You know what I mean? So that was always a trick of the trade. You make it out to the guy, and they would be so mad at that. It would be hilarious.
What do you got coming up on the pod? What can we tell people? What do you got coming up?
Well, we got American Thanksgiving on Thursday, so we just did a pod today, and then next week we are hitting the road for our live show tour. We got Chicago next Wednesday, Milwaukee Thursday, and then Buffalo on the 6th. That's going to be a show with the Missing Curfew Boys. I'm fired up for that. And then ending the tour on this side of 2025, we're going to be in Pittsburgh. So we got like a 10-day swing where we're just going through the chin of the Midwest right into the Rust Belt, and we're just getting greasy. Putting our elbow pads on, we're tucking our chins, and we're going to throw first, ask questions later.
That's you got to do a bit where you're an autograph seeker. Put some gear on and get somebody to record it and go and try it. It's sometimes a bit for it.
Have you ever seen the cards? I'll send it to you afterwards, but I used to sign these cards it was like these future cards for Upper Deck. And I would sign these cards and I would just write little encrypted messages on there like, shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot. You never get there by laying up. If you can't, and I would always write these just stupid messages like, if you're going to tie one on, do it responsibly. So like, imagine like you're an 8-year-old kid getting a Futures Watch card. It's like Connor McDavid, Jay Swish. And it says, if you're going to tie one on, do it responsibly. This kid's like 7 years old. It's like, what does it mean?
Oh, man, that's great. That's great. All right, let's catch up again. Travel safe through that swing. A little bit of a homecoming, too. That'll be fun. Always appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And as an honorary member of the province, thanks for having me on, brother. We'll talk soon.